I talk about these types of stories, and I'm passionate about these types of stories as a cautionary tale because it is so important for women to have a plan, B, C, D, E, F, G, element, all of the plans, because at any point in time, you as a woman need to be worried about your survival. And if you have kids, you're more than likely going to be worried about your children's survival, how you're going to feed, clothe, and shelter your children. So this woman titled this, "My Husband Left." She says, "I'm 99% sure he's using an account to see what I post, which is on brand for him. He's done this in the past. I assume this prompted the divorce, regardless of me changing my accounts. But whatever. Long story, that doesn't matter at this point anymore. I'm now left as a 32-year-old stay-at-home mom who hasn't worked in 4 years with next to nothing but my parents for support until I can figure out my life from scratch." At this particular point, ladies, I want you to know and understand that wife and mom should not be your whole personality. You should not completely lose yourself if you are a wife and mom. Those are very important titles with very important roles, but you are still a whole human that has to be able to survive regardless of marital status. I have seen way too many stories like this. I've seen way too many of them where the TradWife to poverty pipeline is a real thing simply because the husband can just up and leave. They, for whatever reason, can detach from their children simply because the love is lost between them and the wife. They can literally detach. I don't know how this is possible, but I've seen this happen. And then once that happens, these people are not concerned about your children eating, them having shelter, them having clothes. They are not concerned. This is the reason why the plan, and I'm going to continue to say this, I don't care how many people get upset that I'm like talking about this, but women need a plan, B, C, D, E, F, G, L, M, N, O, P, all of the plans. Because like this woman says, I don't know. I don't know. I've spent the day crying here and there. I'm more so mad at this point that I allowed myself to be reliant on him than the end of our marriage. That's been over for a while, even if we never admitted it. She allowed herself to be reliant on him. The person that feeds you can simply starve you as well when they take away your money and your food. She says, "The irony is I've been pleading and asking for a break here. And here I am alone with 2 kids to do the night alone again, just permanently now. Cool. Anyway, I don't know what to do or say. Next steps. First steps, I don't know. I guess I'm just going to have to figure out one day at a time alone as I've been for the last 5 years." This is a cautionary tale. This woman has to dig herself out of this hole. But if you're going to do the stay-at-home thing, if you're going to do the traditional wife thing, you need to establish yourself in a career and have some education to fall back on. Have some certifications that can be useful even if you take a break. Have some kind of job skills that you can do from home after a break. Please note and understand that we are humans and we have to be taken care of. Even if we have to take care of ourselves, you need to be able to survive regardless of your marital status. So the first commenter says, "When you talk to an attorney, you need to let them know that you've been a stay-at-home mom for the last 4 years and you need to brush up on your marketable skills. So his butt needs to pay spousal support or something along those lines. In addition to child support, he is not off the hook. And check and see if the bank accounts still have any money in there because you're entitled to at least some of it. Trust me, judges do not like it when men clear out the accounts and leave their spouse high and dry with children and no way to pay the bills." And then the OP says, "Will do. Thank you." I've already kind of editorialized with this, and I'm not going to dive too deep into this. My whole point is women, the young ladies especially, get your mind out of the fairy tales because fairy tales do not pay the bills. When you create children, those are humans that need to be clothed. And I don't care how much a man says that he loves you, he's going to take care of you, he's going to take care of your family. If that man leaves, and we've seen time and time again, countless times, where they are perfectly fine with walking away and turning off the bank account and all of that. They simply do not care about those children eating. And you are going to be looking at those hungry children. You're going to know that you don't have gas to get to the grocery store, that you can barely buy some peanut butter and jelly and bread. So please, if you don't value yourself enough to, make sure that you have some survival, make sure that your kids can survive regardless of your marital status, because they didn't ask to be here and they need to be able to survive. They don't have any marketable skills as minor children. Join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Please know and understand that you can sometimes be married to a pest that needs to nest and rest. Please know and understand that. It's not just someone who you meet that decides to latch on after you're established. Sometimes you are establishing that pest with you when you marry that person. So this person, she just titled it "This Man," and she went on a rant. She says, "My soon-to-be ex and I decided to separate this past spring. I live in Virginia. You can be separated and living under the same roof, just not in the same bed or sleeping together, which we haven't been. I own the house as a premarital asset. He has never contributed financially to the home. He hasn't had employment since half a year before I purchased the home." So this was a premarital asset. So they were not married, and he hadn't worked since before she bought the home, and she still decided to attach herself to this man. She made this decision. Okay, let's continue. Problem now is he won't leave without a court order. Of course he won't. He didn't have a job before, and now this is the problem. He won't leave. Ladies, we have got to make better decisions for ourselves and our financial future. All right, problem now is he won't leave without a court order or me paying him a load of money that I don't have. I think a quarter of my take-home pay a month, and I'm barely making ends meet as it is. I thought the separation agreement would get him out, but I need his paperwork, and he has also been dragging feet with the little he did send and told me the other day he won't be sending any more over. He doesn't care what the lawyers say. I have already asked my lawyers for legal advice, but promos, what can I do to make him want to leave without potentially damaging my case later? So I don't know what this woman is going to do, but for y'all, please use this as a cautionary tale. The potential that you see in a person, the great words, it could all literally be future faking. These homosexuals, these pests that need to nest and rest, they need to attach to a host so they can suck that host dry of her time, energy, and resources. Please do not allow yourself to be sucked dry. Do not allow a host to attach to you and suck you dry simply because they cannot survive on their own. This person hadn't worked for 6 months before she purchased this home, and this was a premarital asset, so she wasn't even married to this man. I don't know what to say about the thought processes of this person, but I just want you all that don't have a home yet and are not married to not do this. Okay, let's look at some of the comments. This person says, "Have you tried inviting other men over? Just kidding, I think." And the OP says, "Even if I was interested in men at this point, it would damage my case. Although I have male friends that is completely platonic, I wouldn't want to risk it." And then Stuck in Nowhere Bill says, "Make it very uncomfortable. I'd pay for a storage unit under a friend's name. I load it up when he was not home. All the pots, pans, appliances, dishes. Keep one set in your room with a lock, TV and computer and screens. I'd also remove all the food. I'd also remove all the food, okay? Cut off the Wi-Fi or password because you're paying for it. I'd go as far as dismantling the washer where you could put it back together, but it doesn't work in the meantime. Edit. He then has to get a job to eat. Staying home will be boring with no screens or Wi-Fi. He has to get a job to wash his clothing at the laundromat." The OP says, we have 2 children. I can pack up some things, but I can't leave the house bare because I still have to care for me and the kids. I'm sorry, probably for my kids. And I'm not able to cut off funds. I've already gotten a letter from his lawyer about cutting off funds. When I cut off all credit cards except for the debit account, in response, he spent over $1,500 in the span of a month paying down his credit cards and buying clothes, and the account was in the negative, so it declined. I told him it was $600 in the negative. It's taken me months to dig out of that issue. Although he recently has been getting some temp work, I don't have access to, I have asked if he can remove his access to my debit account now. This just sounds like a cluster F of major proportions. Glum Status wants to know, have you looked into evicting him as though he were a non-paying tenant? She says, unfortunately, in Virginia, I don't think you can evict a spouse without going through the divorce process. And then Glum Status says, in that case, would you be willing to sell the house to force him into leaving? I don't know if you're in a position to even consider that, but just food for thought. She says, I can't sell. My mother is on the title with me, and she refuses to allow it to be sold. And then someone says, can your mom evict him? And she says, good question. I'll ask my lawyer. Shoes were number 9 says, keep records. Try to get his viewpoint in a text or an email or somehow record it. You may well end up in court, and that kind of evidence will shorten the hearing considerably. In the same vein, take the high road as much as you can. I don't mean you should hesitate to do whatever it is you want to do with your life in your house, but make sure you would be fine with a judge hearing about it. Good luck. And then the OP says, I'll try to record from now on, but I'm just keeping logs of what was said. Like I said, this just sounds terrible. That's just it. Says you can legally evict him. It's pretty easy to file eviction paperwork at the courthouse. Okay, so she's saying that, but then the OP says, unfortunately, in VA, I don't think you can evict the spouse. So that's where they are. And like I said, this is just a cautionary tale. Please, please, please do not marry somebody who has not worked in 6 months, and don't buy a house with somebody who hasn't worked in 6 months. That's just setting yourself up for the okie doke. All right, join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share. Dating is supposed to be an audition. When a man is behaving badly on a date, especially a first date, see it, clock it, and block it. When he is behaving badly, he's bringing in the negging, he's being rude, clock it and block it. Leave these MFers alone quickly. This young lady posted in the Black Lady subreddit saying, dating in 2024 is just, and she gives a face palm. She says, why do men make fun of women's hobbies? Why do men make fun of women in general? Because they need to bring women down 3 to 7 notches because their self-esteem is in the gutter. Basically. Okay, but let's finish. She says, I recently went out on a date with a guy. We were talking about hobbies, and I mentioned how I'm planning to see BTS when they tour again after they complete their military service. He then starts mocking Chinese accents, the language, to try and make fun of my hobby and K-pop in general. So many men do this, and I wonder, do they see it as an act of flirting? Like, do some of these men really think I can attract women by making fun of their hobbies? His only main hobby he talked about was drinking too, which is another reason why I rejected him, because he's a heavy drinker. I'm not. Good for you. Great for you. He was then surprised and shocked when I sent him a rejection text the next day. He then said in a relationship he doesn't drink a lot, but I told him that dating is to collect data and assess compatibility to see who fits. I wouldn't want to change or train a man. Yes. I wouldn't want to change or train a man so we could be compatible. Good luck to everyone who's in the dating game right now, because it's rough. There are so many great points. This person is 21 and she is already understanding that you cannot change a man. Amen, girl. And then knowing and understanding that these men and their drinking is an issue and problematic, amazing, great. The fact that he also doesn't have hobbies is an issue because what is he going to talk about? He probably is a boring person, and that's not going to bode well for conversations at all. You really do want to be interested in somebody. Otherwise, what is the point? And then the fact that he is rude. Some people in the comments, and we're going to get to the comments, were saying that this is not necessarily negging, but it really is. She says something about something that she liked to do, and he decided to make fun of it. To like, why would you even like that? And I'm not into BTS, whatever, but I'm not going to turn around and start making fun of somebody else because that's just simply rude. So regardless of if he's negging or just being rude, it's out of pocket, especially if you're trying to get to know somebody. Raylena says, sometimes I feel like some men never progressed from the stereotypical grade school boy pulling on your hair because he likes you. Exactly. Many of them are very socially inept. They did not learn how to actually talk to women and girls, and they're going to have to figure it out. But until such time as they do, clock it and block them. Run away from these people. This person says, I think this is true. Some people never grow the F up. Sometimes it's due to trauma. Sometimes, I don't even know. Tia Lionanger says, my gay roommate literally just told me he is still like this today. So yes, they are still there. Enigmatic Vic says, sounds like negging. Lame guy alert. Proud of you for how you handled the situation. For real. Me too. She handled this amazingly. The OP says, it definitely was negging, like gross. Another cycle says, agree. I just don't understand why negging someone's hobbies can't possibly get you somewhere with most women. I know it's a power move, but I honestly don't get it. Good for you on dodging that bullet, OP, and yeah, streets are rough. This person says, Snoocaper says, from what I've read, it has a lot to do with hunting out insecurities. So if you appear appeasing or complacent, it makes them powerful, I guess. Look into why does he say that, and pickup artists. Exactly. Look into this. But this girl, this woman, this young lady seemed to have picked up on this really quickly. So this type of thing isn't getting by her, and I am so proud. Okay, I'm going to skip down to this one right here. She says, it's not automatically negging just because it's rude. Negging is a deliberate tactic to create insecurity. Backhanded compliments are classic negging. This is just typical men being rude to women and thinking it's okay. I do want you to weigh in on what Jiwani says, or Jiwani says. Nor N says, can I just say I appreciate you saying this? I've seen over the past few months on Reddit women using negging to mean a man deliberately being rude or insulting you rather than this. It's one of my pet peeves. Like I said, weigh in on this. I do believe that we are knowing and understanding and highlighting negging, but I do believe that this is negging. So I do want you to weigh in. The OP says it's negging, in my opinion. And Slim Jimmy says, that's what I mean about crashing a date. And Jay Way says, he was legit just being racist. And the OP says racist and misogynistic. So that's where we are. There's a whole lot of problems in this very short post. But I'm glad that this woman picked up on it, highlighted it, brought it to Reddit, and then allowed for a discussion. So now I want you to join the conversation. Let me know what you think. Don't forget to like, comment, and share.